This short video will show you how to use your Io Horoscope Interpreter. Begin by opening the program, of course, and when the program opens, your library window should be opened automatically and probably a chart file, but you can close that because the first thing you need to do, if you have saved the chart, the natal chart of the individual for whom you want to create the interpretation, select it from your library. In this case, I'm going to select one of our famous chart files. I'm going to select musicians. I'll double click on that file to open the window. In the window is displayed a list of the people whose natal charts or charts I have saved. I need to make sure that I'm grabbing a natal chart. And you see that one of my favorites, Eric Clapton, is already selected. It's highlighted in the background. If I wanted to select another one, I can just click on it. You see that it's highlighted. In this case, we're going to do Eric Clapton. So assuming that we already have a natal chart saved, you click on it, it highlights it. This is telling the program, this is the person for whom I want to create an Io horoscope report. So I go to the top of my screen, under birth, I select horoscope, and the Io horoscope setup window opens. Each of the interpreters has a setup window related to the selections that you'd make in that particular program. In this case, we have an introduction. We have keywords, which are, as you know, are just planet or simple words that describe what it is we're looking at. Planets only, planets and aspects, and a full interpretation. It's important to note in this program that a full interpretation does not include an introduction, and that's for a very good reason. You may want a full interpretation of the chart and all of the components, the planets and aspects, planets, and the keywords as well. But you may have an individual who already knows something of astrology, so you don't want to include the introduction. However, on the other side of that, if you have someone who knows little or nothing about astrology and you'd like to give them a little education before they begin to read their interpretation that you've created, you'd click Introduction, click Interpretation, and here we have a short introduction to astrology and what we're going to be looking at in the chart and analyzing, and it helps them get a grasp on what it is that they're expecting to see. So in this case, we don't want the introduction. However, for Mr. Clapton, we'll want a full interpretation of his chart. So we click on Full Interpretation, click the button, and here we have the full interpretation of the natal chart. And in this case, let's see, we're talking 19 pages. And if you would like to include the natal chart itself, which often you would, go back to the top of your screen, select under Design, select Cover Pages, and then submenu, select Horoscope Cover Page, click it, and here we have his natal chart with the full interpretation. Now, we won't go too deeply into the features of this, but just to point out to you, on both the chart and on the interpretation, you see a series of buttons across the top. Each of these buttons are preset formats, meaning the colors selected, the colors of the glyphs, the colors of the backgrounds, and so on. And you can see that each one is different. Don't be concerned, I've played with some of these just as an experiment, and they're not always working, so I'd go in and change it. And you can do the same thing yourself. If you're just sending these charts off as a PDF file, which we'll go into in just a matter of minutes, you can do some interesting background colors and font colors and so on. So we're going to select a relatively simple one here. It's black and white with colored glyphs. And the same thing is true with the interpretation itself. Each one is a preset format, different fonts, different backgrounds. You can see that the margins on this are alternating wider margins on every other page. This is designed for two-sided printers. You can set these up any way you choose using the Format button. The Format button opens a small window that lets you select the titles, the font size, whether it be bold or not, and of course the color. If you click on the color, you're offered a number of palettes to choose from to select the colors that you want. Let's change this one just to show you how. We'll go back to black on this, and we will select the color. Actually, let's do something more fun. We're going to blue. We'll click OK. Then important, click Apply, and you see that the titles have become blue. You can do the same thing with the body. The body of the page, you can turn the text a different color if you chose to. We could go crazy with this and turn that pink. We'll click OK, and we click Apply. There we have pink text. The page background, we can also change that doing the same thing. We could select whatever colors we want and click it and apply. And that way you can control the way your reports look. We're just going to click OK and keep this one. I'm going to go to a different setting, and let's select this one. And this is for my two-sided printing. And now, to save your chart or your report to send to an individual, of course you can print it, but the most common and the safest way to send is as a PDF file. And a PDF can be read by anyone. It can be read by PCs, Mac, it can be read from the web, it doesn't really matter. So you highlight the item that you want to prepare. In this case, I'm going to start with a chart. And we select Print from the File menu at the top of your screen. It opens a print dialog window. At the bottom left, you see PDF. From that pull-down menu, we select Save as PDF. We name it Eric Clapton natal chart. And of course, you can name it whatever you choose. And then determine where you want to save it. If you're sending it off right away, you might want to save it to your desktop. And you can see that I've already done that. And you could save it into documents. You could create a new folder and save it in a new folder called Astrology Reports. That's up to you to control how you organize what you're saving. Now, as you see, I've already saved this, so I saved it to my desktop. I did both. Again, if I were doing the report, I go to the top of my screen under File, I select Print, or I can get Command P. Use your keyboard commands can really speed things up in any software. And in your built-in manual, there is a selection, or section, I should say, of keyboard commands that you can use. So I've opened it, I'd select Save as PDF, and again, I would put that on my desktop probably so that I can attach it quickly and send it off. So the other thing that we can look at, and we will only look at this briefly, is one of the strengths of your Mac software, your time cycle software, is the fact that you have a lot of control over how things look on the page. You see, I can grab this and move it around. I can expand it. I can contract it. I can position it wherever I want. The chart wheel, I can grab that, grab the bottom right-hand corner, expand it. I could make it smaller. I can actually put other things on this page using my graphics palette, but that's for another video. Prepared by, same thing. And you can use a combination of your preferences and your graphics palette to control what these pages look like. Now, as I showed you, the interpretations have their own control here, so that gives you a lot of flexibility immediately with this. But it's simple to use, it's wonderful to use. Enjoy your software, explore it, don't be afraid to explore it. Jot down your questions if you can't find your answers in the manual, or even if you can, give us a call or drop us an email and we're glad to help you. So thank you, and continue exploring, and again, questions to us. Thank you very much.